Chess YouTube, what is happening, my friends? In this video, Magnus Carlsen, he is going to bust out a new opening that is so freaking good, I cannot even keep composure right now. I mean, I'm losing character right now. It is that good. All right, in the game, Magnus, opening A3 and then D5. This is what you do when you're the GOAT and you're playing against a guy named the Tennis Master. Now, I used to play tennis myself, but I would never call myself Tennis Master. Let's see how good this guy is right here. All right, in the game, Mr. Tennis Master, he goes Bishop F5, going for a reverse London opening, which, to be honest, is a very solid way to play. A lot of black players go D5, Bishop F5, E6, H6, Bishop H7, and so on against a lot of weird white openings, and traditionally, it is a pretty solid way to play. All right, Magnus, how does he continue? He goes for the move E3, controlling G4, and now Mr. Tennis Master, he goes E6, and this move right here, I mean, despite being rated 29.58, he's choking against the GOAT. And here, Magnus, he busts out his new opening that I'm calling the Norwegian Praying Mantis with the move G4. And now, use your imagination. This, to me, is literally a praying mantis clawing onto the board. And now, here's the problem. The bishop is trapped. If you go back, it's the Noah's Ark trap. And if you go forward, F3 gains the bishop. What is black going to do? He does the only thing he can do. He counterattacks with the sequence, Bishop E4, and after F3, Bishop to E7. Here, the opponent, Mr. Tennis Master himself, finding the flaw with Magnus Carlsen's new opening, the Norwegian Praying Mantis. The pawn on the H4 square cannot be defended. Even if you go up, Bishop to H4 is coming with the attack on the king. All right, Magnus, he takes the bishop, and Mr. Tennis Master himself, bishop takes H4, hitting the king, and the only legal move is the move king to E2. So, king E2 played in the game, and then D takes E4. Mr. Tennis Master getting 2 pawns and the attack for the missing piece. It is anyone's game in this crazy online blitz game. All right, from here, knight C3, and Mr. Tennis Master F5, gaining space on the king's side here, a very good move. Now, the pawn on G4 is under attack, but Magnus, he ignores it and plays the move D3. A very bold move. Let's see if it plays out. All right, queen G5. The queen slides out, pressures the pawn on G4 again, therefore threatening to win it without ruining the pawn structure. That is very important. Now, here, Magnus, how does he respond? Well, it turns out capturing on F5 is the best move by far, but Magnus has other ideas in mind in his new opening, the Norwegian Praying Mantis. He goes, D takes E4, capturing the pawn, but this is a mistake, and Mr. Tennis Master finds the flaw. He takes on G4 with the pawn. F takes G4, a very precise move, and then after E5, knight C6 targets the pawn and threatens rook D8. Mr. Tennis Master gaining the upper hand versus the GOAT. All right, Magnus, he's down, but he's not out. Bishop G2. He tries to develop, but now black. Knight G to E7, developing on both sides of the board, threatening castling and getting his rook into the game, flying down to the F2 square. Magnus, how does he respond? Knight E4, a good move, targeting the queen on G5 and also guarding the F2 square in advance. That way, if black does castle, the rook will not threaten rook F2. Now, we have queen to H5. The queen slides over and sets up the discovered attack with G3, which would open up the attack on the king. That could be dangerous later in the game. So what does Magnus do in response? He plays the move knight to F3. Knight to F3. Magnus, what are you doing? The move here, and this is a shocker, is queen to E1 as the bishop is pinned to the queen. If you take the queen, white takes the queen, and white is getting out of the game scotch-free. But instead, the move is knight to F3. Magnus, what are you doing in this game? I don't know. Black takes the knight. F takes G takes F3. I can't talk. Then bishop takes, and then queen to H6. If I can talk, it's clear that here, Mr. Tennis Master himself, he regains the piece. He's up a pawn. The king is SOL right now. And black's attack continues on. But here, Magnus, again, he's down, but not out, because he finds an insane move in this brand new chess opening, the Norwegian Praying Mantis, that'll make your skin crawl. He plays the move Knight to f6, a brilliant, brilliant move. What is the idea? After you take the knight with g takes f6, the move is e4 with the discovered attack on the queen. And suddenly, Magnus is fighting back in this game as there is no way to defend the bishop. Once you move the queen to here or here or here, the bishop's undefended. You can't go here. The bishop controls that square. You can't go here or here. The other bishop controls those squares. Magnus giving up the knight to gain the bishop and to completely destroy the black kingside pawn structure. We have queen g7 and then rook takes h4. The rook flies up, wins the bishop. And now knight takes e5. Black wins back that pawn. Let's take inventory. Black here is still up 2 pawns. However, Magnus, he has the 2 bishops, those 2 very important bishops. His king is starting to look a little bit safe, and somehow, some way, his pieces are starting to become active. Magnus is clawing his way back in this game, and beyond that, of course, black cannot castle kingside, as then bishop h6 would skewer the queen and the new rook on the g8 square, not to mention rook g4 ideas coming in the near future, hitting the queen and the king. All right, here, Magnus, bishop h5, hits the king. Is black going to block the attack or move the king? It turns out he will block. Knight 7 to g6 is the move. Now, of course, the rook is under attack, but not really, because that knight is pinned to the king. You legally cannot move the knight, as the king would be under attack there. But Magnus, he's playing it safe, and he gets the rook out of the attack in advance. Rook to h3 is the move. The reverse rook lift on the 3rd rank, where it will be very, very active, covering all of these critical squares on the 3rd rank. All right, black, rook d8. The rook finally enters the game on the very important d file, attacks the queen on d1, a good move, and now the queen has to slide over. So queen g1, the queen slides over, and then rook g8, black lining up threats with the white queen on g1. Mr. Tennis Master continues to surprise me in this game, playing some very, very inspired chess so far. But of course, one of the ideas of queen g1 is it targets the weak pawn on a7, and here Magnus, he scoops it up in this new opening, the Norwegian praying mantis. Now black, queen d7, lining up threats on the white king, including queen d1 check, which could be very dangerous. After all, this knight controls f3, and the king would be forced over to f2, where it would be vulnerable to all kinds of continued attacks. So Magnus, how does he respond? He goes bishop to e3, covering d1 with the rook on the a1 square, a good idea, and also finally activating this piece into the game. All right, Mr. Tennis Master himself, queen to c6 is the move, setting up the double attack on the pawn on e4, as well as the pawn on the c2 square. And how is the GOAT going to defend against both of these threats? It's not so easy. In the game, Magnus, he defends against one, but gives up the other pawn. He goes queen to c5, defending along the c file, not the third file, the c file, but in the process, giving up this pawn on e5. And Mr. Tennis Master, he simply takes the pawn like a Tennis Master would, right? Am I right? All right, rook g1. The rook slides over as Dr. Mike Chess tries to maintain composure in this new opening video. All right, here, Mr. Tennis Master, he's played a phenomenal game so far. I cannot keep composure. He plays a phenomenal game so far, but he makes one of the biggest mistakes of the game right here, right now. He plays the move king to d7, the audacity of this man. The idea is simple. He wants to go king d7 and then king to c8 and maybe even king b8, artificially castling his king a la Magnus Carlsen. However, there is just one problem with this move. If you like puzzles, pause the video right now and try to figure out what the problem is with this move, king d7, because if you can find it, you might be the greatest chess player of all time like Magnus. Maybe. The move here for white is bishop takes g6, followed by rook takes h7, almost no matter what black does. If you take with the pawn, rook h7, take with the rook h7, take with the knight, rook h7, and take with the queen, well, you lose the queen, so that's no good either. But either way, this move would be a punishing move from white. Instead, Magnus, he misses this. He's getting flustered in this new opening, the Norwegian praying mantis. The tides have turned, and he goes for the move king to f2, sliding his king over. but completely giving the lead back to black. As you can see by the eval bar, literally collapsing like this. I've never seen it collapse that much in one move. All right, king c8 is the move. The black king gets over to safety. Now we have rook h to g3. Magnus lining up more threats on the g file. Then knight to f4. The knight swoops down and black opens up the attack on the rook on g3. How will Magnus deal with this? He takes on g8. But first, black, he jumps in with the knight. Knight f to d3. What on earth is the idea? It's simple. When you take the knight, black takes back with the other knight and forks the king and the queen. The double knight fork, kamikaze one onto d3, followed by the other, guaranteeing the loss of the queen for Magnus. We have c takes d3, then knight takes, then king d2, then knight takes c5. Black winning the queen, but in the process giving up one knight plus the rook, meaning white does get some material for the queen, but just not enough. Now, bishop f3, Magnus, he slides back the bishop, attacks the queen. He does not want to lose in this new opening. The Norwegian praying mantis, he knows I'm going to clickbait this even a year and 4 months later. Therefore, he does not want to lose this game. All right, queen to c2. I cannot keep composure in this game. Queen c2, the king slides back to the f1 square, king to f1, and then knight d3, black closing in on the white praying mantis king. All right, rook takes d8, the rook trade, then king takes, then rook g8, the rook slides back to the back rank, attacks the black king. What do we have here? King d7, the king slides down, then rook g7, hits the king d6, and then simply rook g2, white retreats, attacks the queen, but is it too little, too late? Here, Magnus, I mean, he's got 4 seconds left on the clock. Can he swindle the game versus Mr. Tennis Master himself? We have queen b1, hits the king to e2, and in this position, black simply retreats the knight to e5, and Magnus Carlsen in this position, he runs out of time on the clock in a completely losing position. And that means he loses this game with his new opening, the Norwegian praying mantis. Magnus, what have you done? All right, Chess YouTube, hope you enjoyed this video. Crazy game between Magnus Carlsen, the GOAT, and the the Mr. Tennis Master himself. What a game, guys. Comment down below what you thought of the new opening, the Norwegian praying mantis. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to get this video out to as many chess fans as possible, please smash that YouTube like button. It really does help me out a ton with reaching more people. So smash the like button, comment down below. And as always, guys, I wish you the best of luck in your chess improvement journey in 2025 and beyond. And I'll see you in the next video.